Yeah, I think when you're a walk-on, you're. I always kind of laugh like, you show up at 5:30 in the morning to get yelled at by someone like me at practice and do hard things, and you're paying to do it. It's beautiful, and so you know that those guys love the game. The ones that we have, they love Nebraska. I loved Penn State, and they want to be there for all the right reasons. So as much as we talk about all the things that are wrong in college football, I can point out a lot of things that are right. And so I think that's really important. And then at the same time, I look at one of the best players in football today is Hassan Reddick. He was a walk-on for me at Temple. I learned pretty early on, like, who they are at 18. It's not necessarily who they are at 22 or who they are at 27. So we try to give everyone a chance. And by a chance, I mean reps and opportunities and chances to show what they can do. So, and I think for me, like, I love the game because I love the game. And I probably always have a little bit of chip on my shoulder because I knew at Penn State I was going to get a chance. I just knew I wasn't going to get as many chances as everybody else. So I didn't have an opportunity to, like, let things slide. I had to be grateful for my chances and make the most of them. And that's kind of how I feel now coming to Nebraska. Like, I'm getting a chance to do this. I gotta make the most of it. Yeah, I think that I was, we're all meant to do something. We all have a purpose for our lives. I was meant to work with this age group. When I did get fired, it was almost like I was getting eulogized the next day. Like, all my former players were texting me and reaching out to me and, hey, coach, you meant this to me. Hey, coach, you helped me do this. And there's just for me and my purpose, working with young people, I just enjoy the college game. I enjoy recruiting. I enjoy getting to know the parents. I enjoy watching guys graduate. I enjoy watching guys get jobs, have kids. I'm now starting to get to the point where guys I coach, their kids are starting to come up. It's scary but true. And so my wife and kids, like, they missed college. Like, in college, they knew everyone. Like, they knew the families. They, on the away games, they sit in the stands, like, with the, and all of a sudden now they're in the NFL and they don't know any of the players. They certainly don't know their families. So, and part of my NFL experience was also COVID, so that was kind of off too. But I just like being around young people in these formative years and watch them become things that maybe they didn't know they were going to be. Well, first of all, if you like to compete, don't you like? I like to compete in recruiting. So to me, like, when you recruit, you have a chance to compete at everything you do. And I like to recruit. I really like to evaluate first. Let me say that. Sometimes people will tell me that there's a lot of talk about, they took this guy who's unrecruited, that guy who's unrecruited. Why should what someone else is doing, their opinion of a player, affect my opinion? That means I'm weak. So, like, I like to evaluate. We had 3,000 kids, I think, come through our camps. I took 1,000 pictures with youth campers 2 days in a row. Like, I like people, first of all, but I like evaluating. I like watching people. I like looking at a kid at 15, 16, 17 and being like, that kid's going to be this when he's 22. So you're not always right, but I like the projection. I like all that. I like watching tape. But then I also like relationships and families. I like having people come in. And I just have learned, like, oh, bro. Let's not say anything. No one tweet it. I don't need anyone coming to me with, why'd you get coffee? But also, like, what I've learned is I'm really not recruiting anyone to come to Nebraska. I'm telling each person who we are, what we do, why we do it. And then for each guy, I'm saying, here's our vision for you, and here's our plan to get you there. And if it works for them, great. And if it doesn't, we wish them the best. And, like, I'm not a slick talker. I'm not going to sit there and be like, you need to come here because of this. You need to come here because of that. Like, I put that, like, New York City side of me to the side, and I have an 18-year-old son. All I pray for is that my son ends up in the right place with the right people. If he ends up in the wrong place, I don't know. So I don't want kids coming to Nebraska that it's the wrong place. I want them coming for the right reasons. So I love recruiting, and I think we're doing a pretty good job. I'm not the rankings and the numbers and all that. Like, we had kids come to our camp that ran 4.38, 4.42, broad jump 10.5, and had pro agilities. I don't care who else offered them. Like, if I can't coach a guy that runs that fast and jumps that high, then I can't coach. So that's kind of the fun part to me also, is finding the guys that are out there. And I'm really happy with our camps, having that many guys. At first, the first camp was only like 150, 160, and then it just kind of slowly grew. And I'm hoping we can get to 4,000 or 5,000 kids next year, because I want people all across the state of Nebraska and anywhere to come knowing they're going to have a great experience. Yeah, well, June was hard, first of all. I thought I was going to have a couple people quit on the staff. There was one Friday we had an official visit, a morning practice, an afternoon practice, and I think most schools around the country, what they're doing is they're letting the GAs coach the camp, and they're doing the official visit. I'm not doing that. Like, I'm not doing that. Like, we coached the camp, we did the official visit. It was really hard, but on that weekend, on Sunday, it was so good for me and the staff to be like, did it work? Like, just did it work? Well, we offered a bunch of kids that came to the camp that we didn't really know a ton about, or that we liked but we weren't sure. And then we had a bunch of guys commit. And so a lot of parents, and I think a lot of kids nowadays, they're recognizing, like, if these coaches work this hard at camp or this hard at official visit, how are they going to work on my academics, my health, my mental health? Like, they're probably going to be pretty intentional about that. So I think June was a big success, not just for this year, but for the future. Now, recruiting, like, they're committed. People are going to come after them. They're going to want them to come. But you know what? We're going to go after guys too. So, I mean, there's still a lot of recruiting left to be done. Yeah. So, yeah. And I won't say the book just because I'll get out in 1 minute, but, I'll tell the book. So Donnie Raiola is going to do he'll do a team-wide book. He did it last year with the O-line, but he'll do a team-wide, like a book club. Like, we'll do it, let's say 15 minutes a day, 3 days a week for 2 weeks. The book's called Twin Thieves. It's a great book. Donnie gave it to me early on. It's kind of like what they call an allegory. Like, it's kind of like about, I don't know if allegory is the right term. If it is, forgive me. But it's basically about a coach working with a fictional team and helping the guys learn how to overcome doubt, fear of failure. So Donnie and I read all the same books. Like, people always ask, why did you hire him? When I walked in his office and I saw the books he had, I was like, man, me and this guy are definitely alike, because I only read a certain type of book for the most part, and we had all the same base one. So, and it's cool for me. Like, he's going to do that part of it. Dr. Haskell's going to do all the mindfulness and meditation. It's not just me in front of the team. It's Garrett and Terrence are going to do, the quarterback show. They're going to pull out clips and show guys. So all of our coaches have a chance now to get in front of the team at some point. No. No, he if you know him, he's a psychopath in terms of that stuff. He reads the same things. It's phenomenal. To think that we'll be on Fox national TV the first 2 games of the year. I was in New Jersey the last couple of weeks, right? Like, people see me, they'll say, Coach, Nebraska, day after Thanksgiving. These iconic TV memories for people all across the country. To think that now that people are going to turn on NBC, they're going to turn on CBS, they're going to turn on Fox and see us playing on national TV. They're going to see the environment and I think another thing is the presentation. The game presentation is going to be elite. Like, you watch a game on NBC, like, they're going to show Nebraska. One of the biggest things for us is, when you go outside the state, people don't really know what's in Lincoln. They don't know what's in Nebraska. They don't know what's at Memorial. I didn't know. I had to come out and see it. And so I know the teams that are at NBC, CBS, and Fox, they're going to present that in a way that helps us in recruiting at a high level. Yeah, I've never met Coach Sanders. I recruited a young man from Trinity Catholic, Quaylen Jones, to Baylor. That was his high school. But on the day that I went in, Coach wasn't in. So I dealt with his assistant head coach and just thanked them for letting us recruit him. I think Nebraska, Colorado is good for football. I think as many of the old Big 8 games as we could play, the better. I think it's great when everyone could drive to all the games and see the games. What I don't want just football like in this part of the country and this part of the country. I want it east to west, north to south, because I think it's good for the game in the long run. So, in terms of what Colorado's doing, man, I'm so busy with myself. I don't know. My son's on social media, so he'll show me something every now and then, but. I think it's awesome. Coach Sanders is making Colorado highly, highly relevant, and we're trying to do the same thing. It's unique for me because when I was in the Big Ten at Penn State, Nebraska wasn't, and so we played Iowa. We had a chance. I thought we were going to go to the national championship in I think it was 95 into 96 or 96. I can't remember the year. And Tim Dwight took a punt return back for a touchdown against us, and it kind of ruined the year for us. Ruined going to the national championship. We still went like 10-2, I think, but going to the national championship game. So the Iowa-Nebraska rivalry is kind of new to me, right? Like, in terms of seeing it. Obviously, that game this year was huge. But I think having a regional rival, I think having a game that everyone can drive to, I think it's good. I think it's really good. A lot of respect for Coach Ferentz. He's done it his way, the right way, for a really long time. It's awesome. So, I'm excited about the schedule moving forward. I really don't care who we play in terms of in conference. Out of conference, I got a lot of opinions on things like that. But in conference, we got to play them all. So I do know this. Our players didn't come here to play bad teams. They came to Nebraska to play against the best. So, Iowa's a great team, and it'll be an honor to play them.